Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Let us spend some time with our readings from Prophet Hosea, chapter 8, from verses 4 to 13, and Matthew's Gospel, chapter 9, verses 32 to 38. When we read our first reading, there is a very strange line in it. So how is it possible that the all-knowing God, who perceives the souls and sees into the human heart, can complain? They have set up kings, but not with my consent, and appointed princes, but without my knowledge. Doing something without the knowledge of God. Is it a paradox? The all-knowing God doesn't know it? Or just the contrary? God knows about it, but it has a deeper meaning. God speaks of the people of Israel as a community, as a culture. When they do something, God should know about it, which means, in our reading, they should consult God about their decisions. And this is the key, that as individuals, it's a sign of our faith that we have an ongoing dialogue with God. We are sharing our life with Him in our prayers. And this conversation, this sharing, letting God know what we think, what decisions we are facing, this conversation penetrates not only our psyche and mind, but our whole person, our whole personality, as human beings as we are. This sharing with God is like a vital function in us, like how our DNA, our genetical code works. When someone is hurt, we are injured. According to our genes, our body is being restored. So this knowledge of our issues by God, this sharing, this consultation with God, is a vital event in our life as persons. But the same applies to the community. And God continues with the consequences if this consultation does not take place as a culture, as a nation. And in view of the abuse, what happens to the common good and peace, and our parish reading from Gaudium, Evangelii Gaudium will focus on this evening. All this abuse has consequences. In this case, the loss of the common good, enemies will occupy Israel. God is going to refuse their idol worship, and in this sin is the consequence, the punishment is itself, the deterioration of the ways of the nation. So they have set up kings, but not with my consent, and appointed princes, but without my knowledge. In view of the mass killing of people in the wars in Gaza, in Ukraine, when the war is raging, just to highlight two of the about 42 armed conflicts at the world at the moment, when the decision makers are not consulting with God, their people will be punished. Their personal life will be punished. We are facing really bad consequences when our mind is not clear as a culture, as a community, and we can't make the right decisions when we are facing our crisis. So, politicians who refuse peace negotiations, the big companies who make extra profits and are fattened on the war, they are not consulting with God. They are not sharing their ways and decisions with God. And this is a clear sign of the lack of faith and that demonic possession which we read in the Gospel. The demoniac was cured in our Gospel because the man wanted to be cured. He shared his pain with the Son of God. He consulted with God. But in order to bring about a change, as the Gospel says, the harvest is rich, but the laborers are few. So ask the Lord of the harvest to send laborers to his harvest. And this is our work and our call as Christians, to pray for laborers for the harvest, to be sent them to the harvest. This is our vocation as Christians, as baptized people, to be laborers in the harvest, to consult God, to share the pain of our world with God, to share the very pain that our faithless decision makers have zero desire to consult God before making decisions about wars and peace, when they act without God's knowledge. And let it be an encouragement to all of us, online and in person, to go and attend our Sunday worships physically, in person, whenever we are healthy, because the harvest is rich, but the laborers are few.